9 and grade 7 tests looming, but with delays ticking by, NEC hasn't begun printing, citing lack of funds. This is the state of our education sector. In the budget-making process, the ministry, Treasury, slashed 5 billion shillings from the education budget, which was intended for examinations, hence this crisis. Do you get the feeling that this sector is continuously losing out, and this could end up disenfranchising an entire generation due to their education problems? Poghisio.
Fred, education sector, the education sector gets, I think, one of the biggest shares in the budget process. I don't know the figures right now, but it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because we're getting more and more young people going to universities, colleges, and now TVETs also. So my worry is more on the examinations that are pending, the urgency of it. You know, we're getting, you know, you can deal with school fees, but now the most urgent is exams. Mm-hmm. And would it have been that there was a lack of foresight, or was it lack of planning? How could there be no right amount entered in for exams, or who took out the money for exams? And where did it go? Would be the question, because it's so dangerous to think that the kids are preparing for exam and then suddenly we're saying back to Parliament to see. Back to Parliament to answer the question, what happened in the planning process? Was there money put in that budget? And so the committee that deals with that, the chair of that committee, and then of course the minister. So that sector has money. That money can be, that sector, the whole education sector has a lot of money. But now to forget to put the money, the 5 billion back, and then not only forget to put, but the idea also of charging exam fees where there was no exam fees, you know, before. It's another burden on the families and on people. The thing about the education sector is every time we think about it, there's a new model for funding universities, which is very, very controversial. Very controversial because, Fred, of all these students, it's up to the people to place you in the category, okay? And a lot of them who are even poor are finding themselves in the wrong categories. Finding yourselves in the categories where you have to pay higher fees. And so they just drop out. Because the process of even going to challenge that is very difficult and tedious. So we have to review that whole story about university funding model, because this one is even prone to corruption. Mm-hmm. It's even very prone to corruption. This you can even buy a place. You know, you can even decide I'm in this category when you're not in that category. So let's review that. Let's look. I know that the government wants to push for that particular funding model, but it has become more controversial. And now these students, if you listen to their stories, their lives have been ruined because they don't belong in those categories and they can't afford those categories. So how do you go to review those categories to make sure people are placed in the right categories? And all because the data you give is that what is being used against you. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's not going to be easy for government. It's not going to be easy for Parliament at this particular moment. But the story of this sector, education sector, and I'm asking, because there is controversy around it, the members of Parliament deal with that controversy. Mm-hmm. And it's time for them to deal with it now, so that we don't have students falling off the system and just disappearing. There are already too many who are not able to go to school because of the challenges. There is the HELB, which is not disbursing anything for them. There is the categorization, and now the exams. All these things are going to create a crisis within our education system, which is not necessary. System worked before. If it's not broken, why do you want to repair it? Why are you fixing something which is not broken? And the attempt to fix it has caused more problems. So let's think about, do we go back to this old system, or do we adopt this one and make it better?
All right.
My problem is where did the money for exams go?
Yes.
Yeah.
Senator, although 6 billion shillings was allocated in the 2024-2025 budget,